Hey everybody, it's Chuck Schulte from NLPT. It is Thursday night, the 26th. It's been a long day, and I was looking at what currently the Senate has approved. It's supposed to go back to the House for this last bill that they're trying to create some small business support for. So you might already be familiar with it, but basically the gist of it is they want to give you, as a small business, if you qualify, approximately 2.5 months worth of funds to manage your payroll and the other expenses that they're allowing you to spend that on. And so as I was reading the verbiage, it was kind of making my head explode. So first I got out a piece of paper and I started scratching some notes, and then before I knew it, I was in front of the whiteboard. The founders, we have this text chain and other people's brains were hurting. So I think I've kind of worked this out a little bit. So I wanted to share it with you, and I'll preface it with, this is kind of my interpretation, although I've read, I found a number of sites, different attorney sites and accountant sites that are basically saying the same thing. And I'll also preface it with, the House hasn't done their thing yet, but here's sort of how this lays out in my eyes. And that is, after they determine how much you qualify for, the whole gist is how much of it can be forgiven. And basically here's how they're going to calculate that. One of the things is they're going to go by FTEs. And so what they'll do is they'll look at the period of February 15th to June 30th in 2019, and they're going to look to see your FTEs for that period of time. So we're going to keep the math simple. And let's just say you had 10 FTEs that was making up your payroll. They're then going to look at this period of time, February 15th to June 30th of this year. And in that period of time, if you maintained 10 FTEs, then all of that money is forgiven. You don't have to pay any of it back. If that dropped to 5 FTEs, that's 50%. So you would be on the hook for 50% of that to pay back and not be forgiven. The other thing that they're looking at is if you have salaried folks. And so I'm just gonna use a really simple example of just you got one person that makes up your workforce or is salaried, and so we're gonna call him Joe. And let's say in this period of time, his salary works out to be $20,000 in that period of time. They're then going to look at this period of time, and if Joe's salary is cut, you get a little wiggle room with this, and that is, it's 25%. You can cut their salary by 25%, and there's no penalty. So if you cut this by 25% and his salary for that period of time this year works out to be $15K, you're okay and everything's good. It's all forgiven. But let's say his salary dropped to 10K. So that's 50%. So that's another 25%. So 25% of that, or $5,000, which just happens to coincide with your salaried employees, just one in this example, that $5,000 you would have to pay back. Now, they've got some other stipulations with this, and that is that basically any of the reductions or any of the cuts that you do from 2015, and this is 2020 now, and this year when they go back and they're going to look to see, okay, so where was he spending his money and where wasn't he spending his money? Any reduction and cuts you do here, and what the bill says is 30 days past the time it's signed. So I'm going to be optimistic and say they sign it tomorrow. So 30 days from that, April 27th, any of the cuts that you do in here are going to be forgiven as long as they're restored by June 30th. So basically what that says is you can do whatever you need to do to save your business right here in cutting people's hours, in reducing their salaries and letting them go. But by June 30th, at least the way the bill is written now, is if you can restore that, then that won't affect any of this. So basically, you need to do what you need to do to save your business in the short term. And as long as you bring things back to where they were before, then that loan can be forgiven. So I hope this example helps a little bit. My brain hurts a little less. And let's all cross our fingers and hope that they come up with something that's really going to answer our problems tomorrow when the House takes a look at it. And I'm tired. I'm not even going to edit this thing. See you at the top, and we'll find out tomorrow. Good night.